Alright guys, so this is going to be the first battle report. This is Jacob, and it's my Demons versus Orcs and Goblins. Unfortunately, this was the only game I was able to record at Nova. Being Nova, it was a six-game tournament, and even though we had 2 hours, taking pictures slowed down the game a little bit, and I'm a relatively slow player most of the time in tournament situations where I take it pretty seriously and I go at my own pace. So I try not to slow people down, and if I determined that the game was going to take too long with me taking pictures, I usually didn't. And this was the only game that came out to this besides my game with High Elves, which I just was too frustrated with to take pictures anyways. So this is the only one I got, so I hope you enjoy it. This is Orcs and Goblins versus Demons, 2,500 points, no comp. So this is the layout before we start. The Nova setting is that there's two buildings. They are you cannot garrison them. There's a hill on each side, and there's a forest on each side. We don't have any trees on them, so it's just whatever. Also, some other rules. We're using simple line of sight. So infantry are 1, monstrous beasts and everything else is 2. Everything else that isn't a large target is 3, like monstrous cav, and then large targets are 4s. So the reason I've deployed like this is explanatory for that the sense that my large targets cover up each other. Also, hills make you level 4 also, so you can see over everything but other large targets. So this is the board. My opponent's Orc and Goblin army over there, and my demons right here, and I'll go down the line. Alright, so on my left side I got my single beast of Nurgle, and next to that is Epidemus' unit. It's 24 plague bearers if I remember right. Yes, 21 plague bearers with Epidemus. It is musician standard, and it has the Lichbone pendant, so my ward save against magic is a 4-up. I've got my Soul Grinder with Baleful Torrent and Nurgle, my Great Unclean One with Exalted and Lesser Gift. The reason I do Exalted and Lesser Gift is a lot of people ask why not try and go double Greater Gift to get the 2-up armor. The reason is that on Exalted Gift you can take the Eternal Blade, which is plus D3 Strength, Weapon Skill, Initiative, and Attacks. And on the Great Unclean One, those all improve his stats, where they don't always improve them on other Greater Demons. And also with your Lesser Gift, you can default to the ASF Sword for 25 points. So most people would say, hey, there's 2 weapons, you have to choose which one you're using. But no, the Enchanted Blade for Demons, the 75-point one, is actually not needed to be wielded to get its benefits. So you can use the ASF Sword and then also get the benefits from the Eternal Blade. So that's what I do there. He's also a level 4 Nurgle, which is pretty important. So he's my wizard and my general and my most killy thing on the board. Another single beast of Nurgle, I got my BSB's unit, 29 plague bearers with poison on 5 and 6s, musician standard, and they have the movement banner. The BSB is on the far left there. He's got the fencer's blades and the BSB. And then over to the right, I have my other Soul Grinder, same thing. He also has the Flamer, he's also marked Nurgle. And then I have one more Beast of Nurgle. So here's my opponent. I am playing the Orc and Goblin Death Gunline. Lots and lots of fun. So he has a Pump Wagon over on the right. He has a Stone Thrower right behind the Pump Wagon. He has a Bolt Thrower number 1, Bolt Thrower number 2. He has a Redirector Goblin Hero or Lord or whatever on a giant squig, I don't know, whatever. 3d6 movement, kitted out with like armor and stuff. I don't know. Me and him basically sat in the corner and fought with the Beast Nurgle the entire game, so I don't even remember what he did. He's got a Doom Diver number 1. He's got a Mangler. He's got Doom Diver number 2, and then he's got the Goblins. So the first Goblin unit has one of the wizards in it. It's, I think, 30 deep. Yeah, there's 30 goblins in that first unit. Also, by the way, the pictures are a little yellow because of the saturation from the lights. I'm going to try and fix that for the next time I record. So then he's got the 50, 60 man block in the middle. I don't even know what it is. It's 70 goblins in the middle. Now, they're not all goblins. There's a couple heroes mixed in here and there. The Black Orc war boss, which is a general, is actually that little goblin off on the right. Somebody stepped on his black orc in the previous game, so he was using that model to represent, but he's outside the unit. And then he's got the goblin BSB with the poison banner. So that's 70 shots or it's like 50 shots with poison. I'm playing demons and I hate poison. So yeah, also the goblins in the smaller unit have bows as well. Oh, and by the way, there's a Crown of Command in there somewhere. I don't even remember. I think it's on the general. But here's another unit. Nets. 30 more goblins with bows. I think there's another wizard in there. Another stone thrower, another bolt thrower, another bolt thrower, another bolt thrower, and another pump wagon. And the last mangler. So that's his army. And also, by the way, my opponent, when he set up, he pulled out 9 fanatics. So I know there's 3 fanatics in every single one of those goblin units. Lots and lots of fun. So the way I'm thinking about approaching this is he's going to outshoot me. I have nothing to answer for it except for medium range shooting. I will win medium range shooting with the flamers. I can probably panic off the goblins, and the flamers will just destroy that 70 block. So that's what I'm going to try and do. My first turn, I speed up as much as possible, but not to pop the fanatics. I still set up so I can get a good shot second round with my soul grinders, because I'm not afraid of charges, because then he can't shoot at me, so I don't care there. I back up enough that the fanatics will be a little bit of a problem to get out, or he puts me in easy charge range if he tries to move the fanatics in, and also just a little bit of moving around. But I move up like this. Epidemus' unit moves up. The Soul Grinder moves up. The Beast of Nurgle moves up. Great Unclean One stays behind the Soul Grinder because he can't see me that way. Remember, because of the level 4, the large targets, the Soul Grinder blocks for the Great Unclean One, so the Stone Throwers won't get a direct hit on me. BSB's unit moves up. Another Beast of Nurgle. Soul Grinder over here. He moved up not as much as the first one, just to try and stay away from that Mangler. I don't want that Mangler coming behind me. And then Beast of Nurgle over here on the right, and that's basically where he's going to sit for the rest of the game. So, Demons Magic Phase. I roll the best possible thing. I roll the Tzeentch, anti-Tzeentch, Nurgle's Rot. So, it just goes to town on his line. I think I roll half 6s for his units. So, over here it kills a pump wagon, which is really nice. Puts a couple wounds on some I think he killed like 20 goblins after everything. I hit every single goblin unit. Put some wounds on some war machines. Put a couple wounds over here. It killed one mangler. Oh no, it didn't kill the mangler. That's what it was. So after Demons Magic Phase flopped, I killed a couple more goblins with Rance Visitations. Whoop-de-doo. I didn't shoot this round because I was out of range, and I didn't want to risk misfires instead of rolling 10s. So that was it with magic. And then Orcs and Goblins turn 1, so he moves his Mangler through me like this. Yeah, the Mangler's only got 1 wound left, that was right. So Mangler puts 2 wounds on the Soul Grinder. It sucks, he rolled like a 15 to get there, but hey, it only put 2 wounds on, I can deal with it. Over here, the Pump Wagon charges into the Beast. I'm gonna kill it. The Nurgle's Rot put 2 wounds on the Pump Wagon, so it's only got 1 left. He moves up his single character right there, and they're gonna sit there. The other Mangler moves over like this. And then Demon's turn. Nothing else happened, really. The thing was that the magic phase, he tried to cast Foot, he didn't get it. Okay, and then I stopped whatever rinky-dinky spell he had with his last 3 dice. Shooting was amazing. The 70 goblins shot with their poison at the Soul Grinder on the left, and they didn't kill him. Not only that, they only put 1 wound on that Soul Grinder. I had 13 wounds from poison bows. I saved 9 of them with my 4-up armor, and then I saved 3 more with my 5-up horde to only take 1 wound. Me and him were both just blown away by how tough that Soul Grinder was. And then the rock shots, I think he aimed for Epidemus no matter what. I think he missed. Non-ballistic skill shooting from the war machines didn't really do anything. I think the bolt throwers did a couple wounds, just here and there. I think I did fail a lookout, sir, for 1 Doom Diver or something that hit the BSB, but it only did 1 wound. So, lucky there. But oh no, one rock clobber came off, scattered off the soul grinder, and hit the BSB, and I failed my lookout, sir. But he only did one wound, thank goodness. So this is Demons turn 2. This is after I moved up. Unfortunately, the Fanatics were able to pop the second soul grinder, but I was okay with that because that I traded. I think he popped all 3 Fanatics before they finally popped him, and I'm okay with that because look at where I got my main unit through the Fanatic line, and everywhere else is okay too. Um, and over here, as you can see, my Soul Grinder got through, so he's going to flame that big Goblin unit. He's in perfect position to get a huge flame off. Great and Clean One's still no wounds on him. So from a shooting perspective, the Goblins are in trouble because I've got to where I need to be, to where I only have to suffer one more round, and I'm good. And I like my chances there. The Fanatics are out. They're not going to cause me too many problems. And I'm close enough that like the Stone Throwers can't shoot at the Soul Grinder anymore. A lot of the Bolt Throwers aren't doing anything this game. They're getting stopped by the ward saves, or they just can't wound my Toughness 7 stuff. And the bows aren't doing that much. So this is where I'm at. And over here, the Beast of Nurgle moves up like this. I'm going to try and start clearing out some War Machines. And the Beast of Nurgle over here, after he killed the Pump Wagon, charges that guy. So this is after shooting and magic. So the shots, the Flamer comes down and kills a bunch of goblins, as you can see. But it doesn't really matter, because in the shooting round, he's able to focus fire down the Soul Grinder, because he was just like, I just can't take another shot from the Soul Grinder. I just can't do it. Puts a wound on the Great and Clean One through the Mangler. God, I was trying to say Fanatic. Mangler going through him. He bunches off a bunch of Plague Bears on the left with shooting. And then with Magic Phase, Foot comes down like 6 times. Kills, what I started with 30, kills 18 Plague Bears. Just disgusting. But it did come down on a 1, and I hit one of his Goblin units. I don't even remember which one. It was one of the 3. I think it was the one on the right. Alright, I probably threw it at the big unit, but I think it scattered over the one on the right, but it still killed a bunch. So that's after Goblins and Orcs turn 2. And then Daemons turn 3. This happens. So I charge in with the Beast right there. The Great Unclean One moves up because I can't charge, but I'm like, hey, I've got another thing I can do, and I'll show you in a second. And over here on the right, my unit charges in against this big Goblin unit. The BSB's in there, the General's in there. I'm close enough now that if I break this unit, it's game over. All the War Machines are going to get cleaned up by everything else. The Great and Clean One's no longer in threat range because the hill is a level 4, so the other Stone Thrower is blocking. So we can't shoot him down with that, and if I break his unit, then he's lost all his magic. So I'm feeling pretty safe at this point. I don't have a lot to threaten me anymore. I just need a couple of combats to swing my way. And the Beast of Nurgle charges in the smaller unit. I'll clean that up eventually. He's not going to hurt me. Yeah. Over here, we're having a fist fight. I think we're just putting wounds on each other. It doesn't really matter. We're just holding. He's got a high armor. I'm regen and toughness 6 because of Epidemus by now. So we're just not doing anything. And then this is what happens for Demon's Magic Phase. So I put Plague Wind, the big one, through the Orcs and Goblins. Irresistible, and I roll a 10. So it goes 40 inches down the line. It killed 70 goblins, I think. I think it killed it killed 15 from the first unit, killed like 30 from the second, and killed like another 20 from the third. So that's after I killed the goblins from Plague Wind. This is even before combat. And then look what I did to my Plague Bear unit. I went all the way back up to almost starting size with the number of 5s and 6s I rolled from the demon passive for Plague Wind. So yeah, that was pretty daunting for my opponent to be like, you're down to 12 Plague Bears, and then they're back to full. So yeah, now I've got my full unit going in, and they're just going to shred those goblins. The Beast of Nurgle over on the right is still in combat with those goblins, so now he's just going to stomp them away. And the Great Unclean One has just a couple 15 night goblins in front of him that he's going to eat next turn. So after that, the goblins ran after the combat. The Great Unclean One kills the 15 goblins next turn. The war machines get cleaned up. I think in the end he had and over on the right the guy dies to the Beast of Nurgle from killing blow or something. I think I just got a couple wounds through, but whatever. But he got back there, killed a bunch of war machines. Beast of Nurgle and the Great Unclean One clean up the rest. I just basically clean up my opponent. I think he had one Doom Diver and one Shooter, one Bolt Thrower left at the end of the game, and I had Great Unclean One both units at full strength because I got, I think, a couple more wounds back on Epidemius' unit to get him above half, and I had all three Beasts of Nurgle, one at half strength. So big win for the Demons. Great opponent. I loved the game. I loved his army. It was so much fun to play with that army. It's crazy the amount of stuff that army was doing. It's a very daunting army, but it's the same thing as if you can get past my massive Fanatic and Mangler gun line, then you're probably good because all I've got is goblins. So it has its drawbacks. Great part painted army. My pictures are pretty bad. I've got a new camera now, but I still have like this yellow saturation problem, so I'm gonna try and get that fixed. Very swingy game near the end. Plague Wind is awesome against Toughness 3 opponents. I've done this to two people now. I've done this to a High Elf player, and I've done this in this game where I've basically ended the game with a big Plague Wind and it killing half my opponent's army, and then just destroying their army and getting back half your army from the passive is amazing. I gained, I think that swing was like 500 points in my favor because of it, after models back and models lost. So it was a great game. It was probably my favorite of Nova. I really enjoyed my opponent. He's a local that I play with every once in a while, hopefully at Drop Zone from now on. And I hope to get more games like this in. I'm sorry I didn't get any other games from the tournament, but I was kind of busy. So it is what it is. But overall, I was the highest ranked player at Nova for battle score, so I'm very happy with that. I went 5-1, and this is one of my wins. I think this was day one. It was a pretty early game. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the report, and I hope to get back to you with more later, and see you around.